This podcast may contain strong language and spoilers. Some of the movies recommended and discussed are not suitable for all ages. Listener discretion is advised.
To my surprise,
He did the mash,
he did the monster mash.
the monster mash.
It was a graveyard smash.
He did the mash,
It caught on in a flash.
he did the mash.
He did the monster mash. From my love.
Alright, so you have a joke?
Top of the morning to you laddies.
Ah, that was good. I appreciated that.
Yes,
I
we're
said
off to a good start.
I did
Hello.
say joke, not Jack. You know that, right?
Yes,
Okay. Hello, everybody.
we're off to a great start.
We are. Jeannie's here. Jhenee.
Jhenee!
Jhenee.
Katano was here too to say hello.
Oh, hi, Katano.
Thank you.
He's being bad, so he doesn't deserve any hellos. I know this episode's like a week late. I feel really
Just
bad
a
about
little
that.
bit late.
It's a week late. I feel bad. There were some issues of when exactly we were supposed to record, and then like I had work, and then I got sick, so you know.
And then life happened. Life happened. Y'all know.
Yeah.
Y'all can feel it.
Well, now we're back again.
Back again. Love is back. Tell you again.
Oh, back with another spooky episode, another Halloween episode. All right.
Yeah. Got another edition for Spooky Month.
Yeah. Oh, it's probably better that we did this episode a little later because when we were supposed to record, I was still all hyped up on the Star Wars trailer being released. So,
Oh dear.
I mean, I still am. Let's not lie. I still am.
True.
So, plus,
Until
you
it
know.
comes out, even after it comes out, much time after it comes out, it's still going to be hyped.
Yeah. Depending on how it goes. I'll either be hyped or I'll just be really depressed.
No, or probably both.
We'll see how this one goes. Alright. We won't talk about Star Wars though. We'll save that for another day. Because it's time for monster movies. That's our topic today. Yeah. Some good old-fashioned monsters.
I have, hello. I have the most terrifying monster right here. He's trying to eat my hand.
Katano's back, yeah. I mean, he is a buff goth dog, so, you know. when you first called him Goth Dog, I was caught so off guard because I looked at him. I was like, shit, it's true. He's just a big goth boy. He is.
With very sensitive feelings. He's got a piercing stare. My mom, whenever he looks at her, she always feels like he's getting ready to murder her or something.
Oh.
He does have this very concerning piercing gaze.
He does, though. Even in pictures. Yeah.
And especially, it doesn't help the fact that I don't know if it's just him or if it's just the fact he's a German Shepherd, but he still watches every move that I make. It's a little bit concerning sometimes.
Well, it could just be that you're your designated mom. That seems to be what you are. Cause
That's true.
yeah,
But
Grace.
I still remember the first day I took him to the park, and then I put him down because I didn't know that you're supposed to have dogs on a leash at all times unless you're in a designated off-leash area. So no one rat me out to the cops. But I just put him down, and then he followed me. I didn't say anything. I didn't gesture to him. I just walked away to see what he would do because I was like, you got tiny legs, you're not running away. And then I walked away, and then he just started following me.
Well, I mean,
So
that's
I don't know maybe if it's that, and he's still I need to be. So I'm on the side, pet all time.
that's what Grayson does to me, though.
Oh.
I mean, he just.
So yeah, maybe it's just
yeah.
the mommy feeling because I baby him too much.
Yeah, and Grayson I had when he was a kitten, so. But yeah, he has to be in the same room as me. Enough about your buff goth dog.
God, nasty, nasty dog.
Alright, so I think I did say that Olivia was supposed to be on this episode, but because of like all the stuff that happened, it just worked out that we couldn't have her on this episode. She's in the next one though, because I already have the next one recorded. I was just behind for, yeah. That was actually one of the first ones we recorded this month, because it was like she was home. I was just like, you know what, let's just do this, knock it out of the park. Today's topic is monster movies. I actually really like monster movies. And it's one of those that, like, you don't even really know you're watching a monster movie until, you know, I don't know. You don't really hit that realization. It's not a category that, like, yeah. There are some movies in general that are just, they have monsters in them. And
I feel like it kind of shares some similarities with, like, slasher movies, kind of.
Yeah, in a way.
Right? It's got that, like, iconic thing that's just chasing you throughout the entire movie.
Yeah, especially the older ones. Because, yeah, monster movies are, like, they're movies where the central character is a creature or monster, and they're typically the antagonist. And it is usually that, like, they're either stalking the characters the whole time, or, like, they are killing people off. Because they're not always that, like, people die in them. I mean, like, obviously some people die, but it's not always that, like, people are dying on screen, necessarily.
Yeah.
But, it's kind of sad that we don't have Olivia for this one, because really we just were going to shame her for vampires again.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, if you wanna drag her, just let me know.
I mean, I'm always ready to drag her. I'm under the impression that we're just consistently low-key shaming her.
I mean, yeah, that's basically my relationship with
vampire
her.
apologism.
God, yeah. And, like, they're so, I don't know, vampires just gross me out. Like, blood is so gross and, like, contaminated with so many different things nowadays, and, like, they're just basically, like, leeches that, you know, just are more humanoid.
And, like, immortal or, like, long-living. What? You're not a vampire. You want attention.
Well, too bad, Katana, you were naughty.
You turn. He's doing that thing where he slaps me with his hand. Go do some work. Go get a job and be somebody.
Go get a job and be somebody.
God. Damn, says that all the time and makes me laugh.
Is that what you're going to say to your future kids?
Probably.
Just, your 5-year-old won't leave you alone, and you're just like, go get a job and be somebody.
Get a job and be somebody.
Oh, God.
Favorite. I'm gonna be a great mom. Gonna be a great Asian mom. They're gonna be complaining, I don't want to eat my vegetables. Go get a job and buy your own food. Pay your taxes.
Oh, God. I mean, that's how you were raised, technically, right?
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah. So, it's not at all, yeah.
When I was little, I didn't eat onions, and I didn't eat pizza crust, and I would tell my parents that I was allergic to them, and I knew that I wasn't. And they're like, okay, we're going to stay here until you finish all your food, even if we, like, stay so long that we die.
Actually, I used to do that with mushrooms. I would tell my parents I was allergic to mushrooms, because I didn't like them. Yeah. I would just pick them out, like, because they were usually, like, part of the sauce or whatever, so as long as I ate the other stuff, they were just like, alright, whatever. Alright, anyway, we got really off topic. Yes, Jenny was raised in a very Asian home. It was kind of hard to, like, break these down, the monster movies. Other than the fact that, like, there are, like, the classic iconic monster movies that, like, you kind of know about, whether they're just, you know, the gothic sort of, you know, horror movies, or, they're, like, the ones I'm talking about are, like, the classic, like, the black and white ones. Sorry. And then, like, you know, we have our more modern monster movies, which, that'll probably be the one that we talk about the most, because that has, you know, the modern day ones. I wouldn't say they're more interesting. Like, I like the black and white ones. See, Olivia's not here, but she actually hates black and white movies. It's like, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know what it is. Especially because, you know, she tries to, you know, she... I don't want to put words in her mouth. I mean, she does kind of come out and is like, oh yeah, I love all movies. I'll watch anything. But really, she just, yeah, she doesn't like black and white movies. She kind of, you know, she gets pouty about it or whatever because she's just like, oh, you know, it's black and white. It's going to be so boring. But I like black and white movies.
I mean, I still watch it. I can kind of see where she's coming, but, like, I enjoy, like, watching, like, maybe it's kind of that where people, especially if there's like a remake or something, like they'd rather watch the newer, like shinier remake. You know, it's probably like higher quality compared to like maybe watching the original or something like that. Because that's I can kind of understand that.
No, hers is just more that like even movies that like they don't have remakes that are just, you know, they're just shot in black and white. I guess a fair example for, like, having the shinier remakes is Dracula, because, like, that's one that's, like, constantly remade over and over again, you know? But I actually have no idea if she's seen any of the original, like, original monster movies. I just like them, I think, because they're kind of a throwback, you know? And I have a deep appreciation for film as a whole. Obviously, since I'm, you know, doing this podcast, but... like, one of my favorite little tidbit facts is actually, it's not a monster movie, but Alfred Hitchcock's Psycho. The way they shot the sort of iconic shower scene, it was chocolate syrup that they poured down the drain so that it would look like blood. Because, like, yeah, you couldn't quite get that, like, the pinkish color wasn't going to show up in the black and white, so you had to do something, you know, a little darker. My little fun facts. All right, so when I'm talking about like the classic monster movies, I'm talking about the Universal Studios monster, like the creature features, which is like Dracula, the Wolfman, Frankenstein, the Mummy, Creature of Black Lagoon or Creature from Black Lagoon, the Invisible Man. I'm pretty sure that's what he's called. That's the Invisible Man's the one that's like wrapped in all the bandages and like has like the fedora and the trench coat and the sunglasses.
Oh my.
And then like the original silent Phantom of the Opera, and I'll include the Nosferatu, the original Dracula movie. He was always creepy. I think one of the things with like these black and white movies is that you had to do everything with costume, especially because, you know, they're older, and I'm like a huge thing with like the monster movie makeup stuff, which is probably another reason why I have, you know, a deep appreciation for Guillermo del Toro, because he really doesn't skimp on any of the details. He kind of, you know, he really likes to make his own creatures and stuff.
Oh yeah.
We'll definitely get into him, because he has, yeah. Sorry, I'm getting ahead of myself. But yeah, the classic black and white ones. I don't know if Olivia's seen any of them. You know, with you, I just kind of assume that you haven't seen any of them unless you say something.
Yeah, that's a pretty fair assumption. Or it's more like my knowledge of them is just like they've been the storylines have been parodied and the monsters themselves have been like referenced so many times through pop culture that it's one of those things where you just kind of know based on references, not from actually having seen it.
And really, I think all of them have been remade. I want to say the exceptions are, I don't know if there's an Invisible Man remake. And actually, to be very fair, I haven't seen Creature from Black Lagoon. If you know what that one is at all, the only way I can reference it is that Vine where they're like, it's like you'd recognize the girl right away. I can't think of any other Vines right now. But they're like, for your first date, take your girl in a hot tub so that she can wash off all that makeup. And she like submerges herself. And then like she comes back up and she's wearing like that creature mask. It's like that sea creature thing, and she's like, that's what that is. It's Creature from the Black Lagoon. That's what that monster is. It's like, don't let this happen to you.
Oh my god.
Oh my god. That's one of my favorite Vines. I miss Vine so much.
Rip in peace, Vine.
God, I know.
Bless her soul.
That's one of the few I haven't seen, though. Yeah, that and The Invisible Man. Because I watched Nosferatu. That was on Netflix at one point. So I got to see that. Like most of the movies nowadays that I get to see that are like older that like I just haven't seen or through Netflix. But like these were movies that my dad likes. He's really big into movies too. So all these black and white ones were ones that like we would watch during Halloween. And actually, Dracula was the only one that scared me. I don't know what it was. I think really it was just that like they do a lot of shots with him where like they focus in on his eyes and like how he has like this really crazy stare. 'Cause I mean like that's what the vampires kind of, like hypnotizing you or whatever. But
yeah, I remember reading in a book how they like did the like piercing, like his piercing gaze thing.
Oh yeah?
I think they had like a little, I can't remember. I read it in when I was in like elementary school, but it's like they had these bright lights shine through, I think like a box with a little like pencil-sized hole, and they would aim that at his eyes.
That would make sense, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's really cool. There you go. Jhenee has her own little fun facts.
And they were things that I read in a bathroom book 10 years ago. We actually still have that book. It has a lot of fun facts, actually. I might look through that.
I have a book about cryptids I need to find. I don't know where I put it. I hope that was one that, like, the gay roommates didn't steal from me. I really hope not. Yeah, I don't know what it was about Dracula that scared me. I was kind of little when I first watched it, though. But, yeah, so I actually started sleeping with a blanket, like, wrapped around my neck.
Oh!
I still have that blanket, too. It's just I don't wrap it around my neck. I'm weird about my neck anyway. I don't like people touching my neck or anything. So, whenever I have, like, really bad anxiety when I'm trying to go to sleep, I still put the blanket around my neck sometimes. But, yeah, so I was afraid vampires were going to come into my room, apparently.
Vampires being problematic, even from childhood.
Oh, I know. I'm not a fan of Dracula. Like, I like the original black and white movie. And, I do kind of like the remake that they did. The one that has, what's his name? Gary Oldman. That's an actor, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
I hope so.
He's the one that, like, he did, like, Sirius Black and Harry Potter. And, he played Commissioner Gordon in the true Batman series. Anyway, he plays Dracula in that one. And it was a lot raunchier than probably needed to be.
Oh my.
Yeah, there were some pretty intense sex scenes. I was also kind of little when we watched that one too, so I could feel the awkwardness fuming from my parents. But
Oh no.
yeah. I mean, like,
Why do I feel like when you were little, you just watched a bunch of movies that you probably shouldn't have?
well, and there were a few that, like, my dad, like, he knew what scenes to skip as well. And it's also stuff that, like, if I watched it with him, it was, I think they just kind of assumed I had a good conscience about things. And it wasn't, like, little. Like, I had, like, friends in, like, first grade or something that they would brag about how they were allowed to watch Gladiator, which I don't know why that comes to mind. But, like, my parents were, like, showing me rated R movies when I was 6. That's the point that I'm making.
I feel that.
Yeah. And it was, like, they were movies that, like, my sister's 4 years younger than me. So it was, like, since I was older, I got to watch them, but she didn't all the time. It was that kind of relationship with that. Dracula's probably the most well-known, other than Frankenstein. Plus, like, they have the books as well. I hate the Dracula book.
Oh dear.
I physically hated having to read that in high school. It has
part of your English class?
Yeah. Did you never have to do that?
I know. They had us read like what is it? To Kill a Mockingbird and like Shakespeare and shit.
Oh yeah, I read To Kill a Mockingbird.
Like,
Yeah.
I read like Dracula.
Dracula was part of I think one of our summer readings. Yeah, it had to have been.
They gave you summer reading with just a normal English class?
It was an AP English class.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Maybe that's why. Sorry.
All of my friends that are like, oh yeah, I'm in AP English, so like, they give us this like bullshit ass summer reading assignment. I'm like, that sounds like it's fun.
Yeah, high school I was in all AP classes, so if I ever mention something from high school and you're just like, that's not true, I never did that, I was in the advanced class.
I've always heard people like, oh man, they gave me this, I got this summer reading assignment. I'm like, am I just dumb? Or is my school dumb and they never made us do that?
I mean, I didn't actually ever do my summer reading. Come on, Jhenee. I mean, I tried it sometimes. Like, Dracula was one that I actually tried to read. Because it's like, it's meant to be like a classic book or whatever. And it was like, I kind of like, because I liked the original movie. But I detested the book. It's written in like the style of like it's a bunch of journal entries from a bunch of the different characters.
Oh dear.
So you're basically reading like diary excerpts from all the different characters. And it just, I don't know. It was just really boring for me.
That sounds troubling.
Yeah. And like, I don't know. The main guy is just so whiny. I mean, he is in the movie too, but actually, I think in the remake, Keanu Reeves is in it. I'm pretty sure it's Keanu Reeves. Yeah, because he's cute. He's cute in that one. Keanu Reeves is a vampire, by the way. There's no way that he's not, because he hasn't aged. He's like 50 now, and he just hasn't aged at all.
Keanu Reeves was taken and made to a conspiracy.
Anyway, he's just eternally part of the Matrix. I'll stop talking about Dracula since it's quite honestly my least favorite of the list, even though I like it. I think out of the classics, The Wolfman's my favorite. I don't know why. Probably because it's like, I don't know, the story's a little more interesting. And then this is also one that Olivia hasn't seen the original, but she loves the remake, which was really shitty.
Of course.
I mean, it was crap. Because it's one that, like, they just, like, instead of Dracula with them, like, upping the sex scenes, they, like, with the Wolfman remake, they upped the level of gore with all the kills and stuff. Which is which is really unnecessary. And then, like, it's so CGI, it's not even funny.
Oh, gross.
Because I think it was, like, 2010. So you remember that year of CGI.
Yeah.
It's like a transition year.
We just don't talk about that time period.
That's around the time Avatar came out, too, right?
Yeah. Triggered.
Alright, I'll stop. I know I'm torturing you. But yeah, I like The Wolfman, and I really like Frankenstein, too. Frankenstein, sadly, isn't a book that I've read yet. It's also one that I actually didn't see the remake of that one. I'm sure it's like, there's a bunch of remakes for that one. But I've seen like the original black and white, and then like Bride of Frankenstein. I have seen Young Frankenstein, but that's not...
I'm pretty sure that's the only Frankenstein movie I've seen.
If y'all just need like a quick rundown of what happens in Frankenstein, and you don't really want to go through that, just go through, Young Frankenstein. You'll get the idea. It's a Mel Brooks movie, by the way, with Gene Wilder. So, Actually, out of all the ones on this list, The Mummy's the only one that has a really good remake. With Brendan Fraser. and a good sequel. Only one good sequel. Nobody counts the
yeah.
Chinese one that came out. I remember watching it, but I don't even remember, like, I don't remember the plot at all.
You probably don't want to.
It's probably for the
You
best.
just watched it, dumped it all off the balcony of your mind.
I know. I was just like,
We're just
F
gonna
this shit.
pretend that didn't
What the
happen.
hell? It just cleansed my mind immediately. I know I've seen the Black and White Mummy, but it's one that I own, actually. I think that's the only one that I own out of my black and white list. Except for Young Frankenstein.
Until we started, I had no idea that the one with Brendan Fraser was a remake.
Oh, really? Yeah, it is.
I didn't know that was an original.
Yeah.
Oh, my.
It's the same plot, though. It's just the Brendan Fraser one has a lot more action in it. Hi, Luke. Luke's awake.
No,
I know.
a good boy.
He is. He's being good tonight. Alright, so we're going to move on to the modern ones because that way you'll have something that you can talk about a little bit.
Very
And, like, we'll talk, like, there are 2 modern monster movies that, Alright, Luke, calm down. He's on the table now,
dear.
so I have to monitor him. There are 2 modern monster movies that already have come out this year or are coming out this year that we'll definitely talk about. But, yeah, modern monster movies, I think they're a little harder to kind of recognize. Obviously, you know, the black and white versions have their remakes, but these are sort of, I mean, these, like, they do have remakes. I don't know how to, like, describe that. It's harder to kind of pinpoint that they're, you know, showcased as monster movies, I guess. Like, any movies with zombies, really, those are technically monster movies. Because I think nowadays everybody just kind of groups, you know, everything into, like, the horror as a whole. Which is kind of why, you know, that we've broken them down into their little categories and stuff.
Yeah.
I don't even know which one. Okay, I'll start with The Thing. Because this is one that I actually really like. It's also one that's really gross.
Oh dear.
It's a remake, but the remake is the one that actually excels from the original. There's actually 2 remakes, but I'm talking about the one that John Carpenter did. John Carpenter is the guy who did the original Halloween movies, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
But The Thing, have you seen The Thing?
I have... Question mark? Yeah, I don't think I had, no.
It's about these researchers who it's like a rescue team. They go to find a missing crew that's up in Alaska. They're like a drill crew, and like they drilled and they found something, and it's like this alien thing that like it can mimic its hosts, like it shapeshifts. It like sort of like eats you and then kind of takes over your form. And, like, it's one of those that, like, you don't know who it is. And, like, it leaves off on a note that you don't know whether or not, like, the 2 remaining people, if one of them is the alien.
Oh.
It's actually pretty good. It's gross, but, because it's, like, it's a huge body horror movie as well. Because, like, this alien creature, like, there's a bunch of, like, mouths appear on the body where there shouldn't be, and,
Oh, that's upsetting.
like the limbs and the eyes and everything kind of pop out where, you know, things shouldn't be and out of place and stuff. And there is a dog involved, unfortunately, but
Not the puppies.
yeah, that gets over with pretty quickly though. If that, you know, makes you feel a little better. But it's a good movie though. I actually I know that the remake came out, and I even remember, like, a movie that came out at the same time. The Footloose remake came out at the same time, because me and my mom went to see Footloose, and we could hear The Thing playing in the theater next to us, because it was really loud.
Oh my god. While you were watching your movie?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh my god.
It was so loud that it was, like, shaking our theater. It was really crazy. It was like those poor people. Yeah, I've only seen the John Carpenter version. I haven't seen, like, the original, and I haven't seen the remake of the remake. It was one of those, for whatever reason, that people were just like, oh, you know what movie that, like, people love but don't always talk about? We should remake it. We should remake The Thing for whatever reason. Kind of like Halloween as well. Everybody was like, we should just remake this movie. It's like, no, don't remake movies.
What movie can we remake that nobody asked for?
Which, a perfect example of this, Godzilla. Like,
I don't think anybody's asking for that.
alright, to be fair, I am asking for a decent Godzilla remake. I am so sick of these movies coming out and they're shit, alright? Like, I'm going on a Godzilla tangent now because this is on my list.
Yes.
I've seen the original. I love the black and white version. It's so campy and adorable. Plus, the Japanese at that time, they were making movies, and, like, their monster movies, they were always like, this is happening because y'all are fucking killing the environment.
You're fucking killing the environment.
Literally, if you just binge watch a bunch of the Japanese, like, black and white monster movies, you'll be like, oh my god, these are all about how, like, radiation and, like, pollution and stuff is basically just, like, creating giant monsters that are gonna kill us. But Godzilla, though, so I've unfortunately seen all of these, like, I've seen the original, I've seen the remake with Matthew Broderick. Yeah, Ferris Bueller, that's the guy, right? Matthew Broderick?
Yeah.
Yeah. And then I've seen the one that came out where they showcased Bryan Cranston for, like, all the interviews and stuff, but he was in it for 20 minutes. I can't even choose which remake I hate more. The Matthew Broderick one was just, there's so much bad CGI, and then the story is everywhere. And then I don't know why, when they remake these Godzilla movies, they're just like, you know what would be even better? Let's just make it attack America. And I'm just like, why? It was based in Japan. Like, just leave it in Japan. But, So the Matthew Broderick one's in New York. And, like, that's the one where, like, Godzilla apparently, like, has been busy, like, really busy laying some eggs just for no reason. And, like, all the little Godzilla babies hatch and start attacking everybody. And that was just, that was one I watched on Netflix. It was also one that nobody warned me about it. So I was just sitting there like, what the hell is happening? Like, you'd think my parents would have told me, there's Godzilla remake movies, but you shouldn't watch them. Like, that's something I'm going to tell my children. You know what? These Godzilla remake movies, just don't watch them. It's not worth it.
Kids, if there's anything you need to learn from me before I pass on this world,
don't watch the Godzilla remakes. Was it 2014 that this came out? I think it was. The newer Godzilla. I think this one bothers me more because, for one thing, Godzilla's literally in the movie for, like, maybe 5 minutes. Literally. And then, like, Bryan Cranston's not even in the whole thing, but he was in all the previews and all the interviews and stuff. So, he just came off Breaking Bad. Anyone who watched Breaking Bad, they're like, oh, okay, yeah, Bryan Cranston's in this new Godzilla movie. It's going to be awesome. Literally, the only decent part was the fact that they're in San Francisco. And, like, before Olivia and I went and watched this movie, we read the reviews on it, and one of the reviews was, San Francisco gets what it deserves. I was like, that is literally the best movie review I've ever seen in my life. Dude actually went on a tangent about how he hated San Francisco. It was really funny. But anyway, and then they had, those bat things that are like, they're just wrecking the country trying to find each other so they could do some frickle frack so they can make some babies or whatever. And, God, like, the main people, they're like, it's Elizabeth Olsen, and I forget the dude's name, but they were a couple, but they were also playing the twins in Age of Ultron, Pietro and
is that
Scarlet Witch.
Is that where that's from?
Yeah.
Is that where? Oh.
Yeah, they played a married couple, and then the same year, Age of Ultron came out, and, they were the siblings in that one, so I don't know why that was weird for us, but it just made it weirder.
Oh my god. I remember seeing that on my Tumblr. I was like, what?
Yeah.
2014 when Age of Ultron came out?
I think so, yeah.
Oh, I refreshed it that far back. I don't even remember when the shit came out.
It was either 2014 or 2015. But,
within, like, a proximity, because I remember seeing people, like, being weirded out, like, oh, yeah, because I thought they were actually, like, married in real life, and that's why it was weird.
No, it's because they played,
like,
they played the married couple in Godzilla.
Oh, my.
Oh, my. We're channeling some George Takei here.
Always.
some Sulu. And Godzilla just, like, very few Japanese people. Like, the one Japanese guy, he's in most of the movie. I don't even remember what his role was. He was, like, an expert on Godzilla or whatever. I don't know why. I don't know why there's, like, an expert on Godzilla. But... And, like, Godzilla itself was really cool. Like, I loved how they designed her. And, like, her, like, laser beam thing and, like, everything. And how she fought, like, the bat creatures, whatever. So they wouldn't frickle frack in the middle of San Francisco. But...
Yeah.
They made Godzilla out to be, like, an American hero. That's how the movie ends. Godzilla is an American hero. And I'm just like...
if she's gonna do that, she might as fucking well be.
I'm just like, why? Like, I even remember, like... It's like, I know when Olivia gets irritated during movies because she starts playing with her hair. Like, that's how I know that she's bored, that she's no longer interested in this movie. It really did not take very long. It took maybe an hour in that Olivia was, like, full-on just braiding her hair. Like, little strands. She was just, like, basically doing cornrows in her hair. And I was like, what the hell? I was like, you know what? At least she's as bored as I am. Because, honestly, it was, like, it just... We were mad walking out of that movie. Like, I was fuming. I was like, oh my god. They literally ruined Godzilla more than Matthew Broderick. Which isn't true. They're equal to me. It's just... If you're gonna remake Godzilla, if you're gonna make anything from Japan, leave it in Japan and leave it with, like, the original story. Just, like, leave the story alone. Like, they know what they're doing.
I know sometimes Americans give off the impression that they can't understand things beyond, like, an American filter, but I promise you, majority of Americans aren't that dumb.
I say this specifically aimed at the people in charge of Akira. I swear to God, if you Americanize that shit, I will never go to the movie theater again.
You heard it here first, Hollywood.
Oh.
We're coming for you. Audrey's coming for you. She's armed.
Shit,
She's not happy.
I keep rubbing my eyes. I forgot I'm wearing makeup.
God.
Alright. That was my Godzilla tangent. Do you have a tangent you want to go off on?
Not in the Oh, I do, but it's not related to monster movies.
It has nothing to do with monster movies.
It does not currently.
Okay, you can text me your tangent later.
Yes. Well, I kind of already have in the past.
Oh, okay. Is it about Americanizing Japanese things?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. Well, we'll spare you guys for now. We'll leave that for Anime Month.
For now.
All
I don't know
right.
when it's coming out, but probably going to hear more about it by that time comes. No!
I'm sorry that she keeps barking, by the way. I don't know where that's coming from.
That's how I show my displeasure.
we're just gonna keep the flow going with modern monster movies. The Babadook is one that you like. The Babadook's one that I can't watch again because it traumatized me. Well, like, I've told you this, that I don't like things that make like, it's a specific noise, like that sort of deep throat kind of moan that things do. Luke, get down. But sorry, he's trying to grab stuff off the table, off the other table, table number 2, the one that Wilbur's sitting at. But yeah, you liked the Babadook, and I'm not saying I didn't like the Babadook. I'm just saying that because of, like, I guess kind of the way that he moves and, like, the noises and stuff, like, I don't know, specifically, like, the things that they kind of did with the Babadook that I can't really watch it again. I just like saying the name Babadook.
That is, oh god, just like genuinely unnerve you.
Yeah, yeah, I don't like things that sort of move with that sort of shutter shot kind of thing, or like that just kind of glide. I hate things that glide. It freaks me out. I don't know why. But
does he have kind of like that? Because I guess kind of the way, like, trigger warning, like the way the Grudge moves, that kind of like seizure-y, like shaky feel.
Yes. The noises too.
Does he get? Oh god, I feel like that's starting, like, just because of association, I feel like that's starting to disturb me now. Because, like, side note, I was watching something on YouTube, and then one of the people were like, they started making that like Grudge noise. I was like, literally, like, stop! I'm gonna mute this.
Yeah.
Thing, stop! But I feel like it's like, it is. Now that I think about it, it is like just really unnerving.
Yeah. But
I kind of. I don't really know why, but yeah, I guess that, like, that kind of seizure-y, like, what's the word? Like, kind of, like, jerky stop-motion way of moving.
Yeah, I don't like that.
So I feel like, because it's so, like, unpredictable and, like, unnerving.
It's unnatural, I think is the word you're looking for. Yeah.
Yeah. Because, like, I played, I don't know if you've seen, like, any gameplay, but in the third Dead Space, like, okay, like, it's known, like, by pretty much everyone that's played it. It's not really a scary game, but there's one almost near the end that they introduced that has that, like, jerky, like, just terrifying, like, twitchy movement, and then, like, 1 second, I think what bothers me is just, like, usually, like, 1 second they're, like, across the room and, like, doing their thing, twitching, Harlem shaking, whatever. And then all of a sudden, like, the next frame, they're, like, right in your face.
Oh, yeah.
I'm just like, no, thank you.
I'm gonna have to avoid talking about the other one. I don't even like saying the name because I just, like, it associates me with it, and I just I don't know. It gave me such bad nightmares. I don't know why. It's one of those movies, not the Babadook, the other one that we were talking about. The Babadook didn't really give me nightmares. It was just, I didn't like the way it moved, or the noises it made, or
is it the one
the child.
Is it the one next to the Babadook? Oh.
What?
Is it? I still feel so bad for laughing. Is it the one next to the Babadook?
Wait, what?
No, in the notes you sent me, is it the one next to the Babadook that, like, bothers you?
No. The one we were talking about, the one that you brought up that you know that I hate, that you hate by association now. Yeah. Yeah, I can't, yeah. No, It Follows didn't give me nightmares. Okay. No.
That one I should have known then.
That's a good one. But, yeah, the other one.
The one that shall not be named.
Yeah, the one with Sarah Jessica Parker. The Babadook, too, is, you know, it had a good, like, sort of, not even a theory. Like, it's not a theory. It's, like, the representation, or, like, the metaphor or whatever. You know, the people who, like, made it, like, they've come out and said that it's, like, a metaphor for mental disorder. I think specifically depression and schizophrenia. Yeah.
Oh.
I've told you that before.
Thank capacity.
But see, there are other things that you remember that I'm just like, I don't even remember telling you that.
And then there's like things that like you said to me, I'm like, what the fuck did I say that? Like 2 years ago.
Oh my god, yeah, the, never mind. I won't embarrass you.
The stuff. The things.
Yes, the things. The here's Johnny. There are things that you say that I have to save them to my phone. They amuse me, alright? Plus, it's to embarrass you.
I'm glad. It's like a time capsule, and it's a reminder that I really, as the years progress, I really have not changed.
Alright, so the Babadook, similarly, It Follows, is rather unique because it's one of those that, like, I don't know how to, like, describe these movies as, like, because, like, the Babadook 2 is, like, not necessarily scary, but it's, like, there are parts that are unnerving, but it's also, like, it's just unique to watch, I guess. It Follows was the one that's, like, about, kind of like a ghost STD. That's basically what it was.
Pretty much, yeah.
Which sounds like a silly concept, but it's actually a really cool movie.
It was.
Yeah. Oh, you did watch it?
I did. Yeah, I did.
Yay!
I watched it once before, and I didn't really. I believe it's on Netflix.
Yeah, it is.
Probably.
It is.
Yeah, that's okay. Yeah, and I remember I watched it before with my mom, obviously, and then I didn't really pay attention to it until we watched it again because it's one of those movies, kind of like The Purge, where it has like a really interesting concept and in terms of horror movies, and I'm like, I really want to watch it despite it being a horror movie.
Unlike The Purge, however, it's a unique concept that they did well.
Yeah.
Like the atmosphere and the aesthetic of everything, and like everything about it was such a throwback to like older slasher movies. That's what it reminded me of. It reminded me of Halloween and Friday the 13th and all of those. Like just the way that they shot certain scenes. And like there was like a scene where they're going up to the cabin or that's like out at the beach. That's like the opening scene for the original Evil Dead. Just a lot of really cool like little, what's the word? I don't know why I want to say candy corn. It's Easter eggs. That's what I'm looking for.
I mean, maybe that could be
the Halloween version.
Halloween-related term.
It's little Easter eggs that if you're familiar with horror movies as a whole, that you're gonna like, you'll recognize the scenes right away. The frames, technically. It's also one that, like, they had some good scares in it as well. And it's just, overall, it's just a creepy movie. But Olivia and I really liked it. It was one that, like, when it came out, I saw that it got really great reviews. It was just, I hadn't gone to see it, and then, a few years down the line, I was like, oh yeah, I wanted to watch this one. But I'm kind of a weenie, so I couldn't watch it alone. That's my thing with horror movies, actually, is that I can't really watch them alone. Especially because they're, like, it won't even be that, like, the movie itself is scary. It'll just be, like, there's just one specific thing or scene that happens, and that's what unnerves me for the whole movie.
Yeah. Or it's like they got this, like, just one particular shot or, like, a sound or a situation or, like, a certain scene that, the movie itself won't really bother you, but, like, once you get out and you're, like, alone, you start thinking about it, like, oh, well, fuck.
Yeah, it's like that one scene that you kind of, like, you hyper-focus on.
Yeah.
Which is why typically they, like, especially going to theaters, like, I was never one to go see horror movies in theaters. I don't think I started that until I was, like, well into high school. And, even then, like, I really don't like going to do it. Part of the reason is that, like, with the horror movies that when you go to see them in theaters, they always, like, for whatever reason, they up the volume. They make it a lot louder than, like, when you normally go to see movies, which is a thing, like, I have a thing with noise. So, like, anything that, like, if it gets too loud, it just, like, throws me into a panic attack. Which is good that, like, I can't go to see them without going with Olivia, because Olivia already knows that, like, I have that thing with noise and sound. So, like, it's not like, you know, I'm with someone who doesn't know me that well, and they're looking at me like, okay, so she's freaking out, like, she has her hands over her ears. But, I'm fine, like, you know, it takes me a minute.
Yeah. That's understandable.
But, alright, so, hi, Grayson. Yes, hello, you're so handsome. Yes.
He's joined us.
Yes, he
The
has.
toasty loaf with the toastiest balls. He's joined us.
Don't talk about his balls. Alright, no, baby, you gotta back up. You can't be near the microphone. He's like, why are you pushing me? Alright, so there are actually 2 monster movies coming out this year. Or technically, It has already come out. And It is a monster movie because, like, the main character, like, the main antagonist is a monster. The freaking clown. Were you ever forced to watch it?
No, actually, thankfully.
Okay.
God.
Like I said, if you're ever made to, like, if you have to watch it, it's gonna be that, like, really, Georgie's the worst scene. Really is. Sorry, my dad just texted me. It's 2 a.m. I'm just like, why are you awake? Yeah, Georgie's the worst scene. He really is. And that's the one scene that in theaters I had to cover my ears for. But it's also the one scene, yeah, that I. It's.
Are there other chase scenes?
Not really.
That's okay. Because I remember seeing, like, the trailer and being, like, genuinely unnerved and almost started crying. I think because they did that, like, that trailer thing where they, like, just put in, like, all the screams and, like, make it really, like, do that thing where they, like,
they didn't
he's,
even
like, coming at the camera or whatever, and they do that, like, blinky thing.
Well,
like,
he does.
No,
that is,
I
I'll say that is how he moves. He does kind of have that sort of Shutterstock movement. Which, yeah, that's. I mean, like, that's, you know, he's the creepiest part of the movie, but really Georgie's the worst scene just because, like, you actually see him die on screen. You know.
Yeah.
And there's such a build up towards it that's just. Whether it's, you know, in the book or the 90s movie or even in this one, it's the worst one. Because he's a baby, he's so little. But, yeah.
That kid is very cute, though.
He is. All the kids are cute. Like, I love seeing all the GIF sets and stuff of this on Tumblr. Because all the kids are so adorable.
They are.
Now
I'm just thinking, is that what gets the jack out of the box? It was a genuine question, you coward!
Shit. Richie was definitely my favorite. Little, Luke Wolfhart, the little Stranger Kids. The Stranger Things kid. All the kids were cute, though. They really were. And the one that you keep seeing that, like, is doing the videos and stuff, the really little one, I'm pretty sure that's the one that played Eddie. Who I also loved Eddie, too. They keep doing, like, the videos and stuff and putting them online. I'm just like, y'all are crazy.
Oh my god.
Yeah, with Pennywise, yeah, you'll definitely, I mean, because if you're being forced to watch it, you know, I'm trying to be lighthearted about the fact that, you know, Georgie's the worst part, but I know that it's probably one that you're not going to like, just because.
If anything, it's probably going to have, probably not as bad, but a similar effect to The Ring, where it's like, it's just genuinely going to unnerve me for a while. It's just for the clown motif.
I'll say, it's not even really that, Like, for me personally, like, because, you know, I don't like clowns either, but, like, it's not even that he was a clown. It was, like, the way that he moved was, like, the worst part.
Yeah.
And he shapeshifts, so, like, I can't even think if there were really any chase scenes. I know Bev has one, but that's not even with the clown. That's with her, never mind, that's a spoiler. I won't go into that.
Oh, my.
Really, I think any other, like, actual chase scenes were between, like, other kids or, like, other characters. They weren't between, like, the clown itself. Or, like, if anything, it was, like, he was shapeshifted into something that was, like, scaring one of the kids. But even then, like, really a lot of the stuff he shapeshifted into, some of them were kind of comical almost, which I kind of liked that they kept the sort of campiness of it. That was definitely one that I enjoyed. And Olivia liked it too. She hyper-focused on the guy that was playing Pennywise, which a lot of people are doing, and it's kind of creeping me out. Because I'm just like, he literally played a murderous clown. He's also, like, in real life, he is kind of creepy looking. So, I don't know. Alright, the other monster movie coming out this year is The Shape of Water. It's Guillermo del Toro's new movie. It's the one with the fish sex.
Is that the fish sex? I was waiting for that.
The best part is, like, it's real. Like, they keep having interviews come out about it, and they keep talking about it. And it's like, it's not something that, like, somebody on Tumblr just made up for shits and giggles. Like, this is happening, you guys.
Oh my god.
I don't know. Whenever I bring up this movie, all I can think about is the post where they, like, everybody that's commenting just starts chanting fish dick, fish dick. Oh my god. I'm really excited for it, though. I love all of Guillermo del Toro's movies.
Is it original or is it like an adaptation or something?
It's original. Most of this stuff is original. I'll say the only things I can think of that, like, the only thing I think that he did that wasn't, like, original was Hellboy. Because that was based off a comic series. Because, like, Pan's Labyrinth was an original story. The Orphanage was an original story. Pacific Rim was an original story. Crimson Peak was an original story. Like, he's like, the live action version of, oh my god, Hideo Miyazaki. Yeah, Miyazaki. I'm tired. It's 2 a.m.
It's late, guys.
But yeah, he's like the live action version of Hayao Miyazaki. Making all the good shit. He's really the one that should be in charge of making all the live action anime movies. Just think how amazing that would be. He'd keep it in Japan, and he'd make it even weirder. Yeah, so, I don't know, is there anything else you want to talk about? Any other monster movies?
None that I can remember.
No. We didn't drag Olivia as much as I thought we would.
Yeah.
We really should, though. It's like, the girl, I don't know what to do with her.
Girl, she's
The girl. I don't know what to do with the girl.
Vampire apologist.
That's what she is. She's a vampire apologist.
That should be the name of this episode.
Sadly, it's not. I did already name this episode. It's called Monster Mash.
Ooh, sexy.
After the song. Did you say you're hungry?
I'm always hungry.
That's true. You are always hungry. That's the depression, kiddo.
You can't say that, but I'm finger gunning at my phone.
See, I knew we would run into this problem. We can't communicate without emojis.
God.
Because
I'm not communicate without being able to send memes to people as a reaction. That's honest. This is really my worry when I go into the real world, guys. I can't carry like tapestries of memes wherever I go.
I mean, really, you just kind of make the faces or the gestures and stuff in the memes. I've seen your Snapchat. I know what you do. And we're both too anxious to FaceTime, so we really can't, like, finger gun at each other. We have to be like, I just finger gunned you.
Send the finger gunning emojis. It's fun. We're professional adults. PSA.
This is why she's my bae. She's so strange. Grayson's sleeping on my old pizza box now. He's so cute. Yes, you are. I don't know where Luke went. You better not be under the couch. That's right, I'm saying that because I see you under the couch. He's allergic. That's why his nose has been bothering him. He's allergic to the under stuff in the couch.
No.
Yet he keeps going in there like a dumbass.
Like a dumbass.
Next episode, which really technically, because I was delayed, so they're coming out the same day anyway. But it's actually Olivia and I's episode. We did shit, I can't even remember. Let me look at my notebook. We did the horror movie musicals.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah, there's actually more than you'd think there is. Most of them are Tim Burton, but... Huh?
Oh. Yeah, I didn't even know that was a genre.
I would say you can make anything a genre, sweetie. Like, most of these I'm just making up. I'm just like, this is a category. I'm gonna throw some shit together.
That's fair.
Which, we do talk about Phantom of the Opera, because I know it's officially your favorite now.
Where's my candle?
Phanta of the Opera. I'm so glad I found that picture. Yeah, so next episode is horror movie musicals. Olivia and I, most of it's Tim Burton. But we do have some others that we talk about. Which really, I actually think I showed you all of these while you were visiting. Because it's Phantom of the Opera, and then Repo the Genetic Opera, and then Rocky Horror Picture Show.
Oh, yeah.
Some of the ones, yeah. Yeah, so next episode we're going to do the Time Warp. We do actually do it wrong most of the time, but, I couldn't remember the words exactly, so... Anything else you want to say?
Drag Olivia. She's a dirty vampire apologist.
Oh, I know. Also, I'm still waiting for some C-3PO erotica for her. She She needs to be shamed, so,
We still need to drag her for Daddy Jar
And
I feel like she hasn't been dragged enough for that.
Right? I'm so bitter about her and her robot uprising or whatever. Her robot genocide. Alright, my babies are ready for bed. Yes, I know, Grayson. They're ready to go lay down. And it's cold out here now, so I just want to go under my blankets. It's cold here now. Is it cold there?
It's on and off, but
On and
it's
off.
actually not as cold as it really should be by the time, it's almost November, and it's still because you know me, I'm like a weenie. I just devolve entirely into a child when it gets cold. But I'm still in, shorts and a t-shirt for the most part.
I mean, you also don't really leave the house either, so...
That's true. But even... Okay, listen. That's a fair analyzation, but usually even at this point in the year, even if I have the windows closed, it's still cold.
Right. Also, your side of the country has been on fire for most of the past month.
That's true.
So
that's true. It'll be it was 2 weeks. It's 2 weeks where the sky is just really weird and apocalypse looking.
Yeah, like Silent
for
Hill.
2 weeks, and then it would be nice. And now we've entered perpetual rainy season, so.
Yeah, Jhenee lives in Silent Hill, you guys. That's why whenever we text, there's that weird delay of when you get my texts and stuff. That's what it is.
Yeah. Pyramid Head usually comes by and delivers the mail.
Well, ironically, he is meant to be a representation of the need to feel to be punished. Since that was a kink that you've recently brought up. So, maybe reel it back in before he comes along.
I don't need Pyramid Head thick ass coming around shaming me.
It's not shaming you, like he's coming around to punish you.
He's coming around to feed into my kink, okay.
Yeah, it's your subconscious need to be punished. That's what he is.
Even better.
Like, literally, look it up in canon. That's what he is.
I fucking will.
This suddenly turned into me dragging you. I don't know why.
I was surprised. You probably have a closer ass thing that you can just out me for entirely.
I mean, I've been very nice, I think because with you, it's like a lot of your stuff, bringing it up embarrasses me more than it embarrasses you. Because it's like I have to repeat the words aloud. Are you crying?
Oh dear. Oh no, it's true.
Oh, were you looking it up? I told you. Why didn't you believe me?
I needed to read it.
Well.
We're just learning all kinds of things together, everybody.
Yeah, everybody out here. I don't know. That's like the one.
I'm surprised.
That's the one fact that I know that I remember from Silent Hill.
I guess that's why, like, when I saw the Pyramid Head cosplayers at Chocolate Con, I just wanted them to beat me up.
Why do you say things? Alright.
But I guess I look at them and I think, should I? Shouldn't I? Why not? I'm already here.
God. Between you and Olivia, and, like, your filter is worse. Like, you're just like, whatever. She, like...
I don't like my filter works. It works. It doesn't work?
It's worse. I didn't say works. No, because Olivia's just, like, a plethora of, like, swear words that everybody's already heard, and then you're just, like, I don't know. You just
That's
instantly
just
bring up,
It's just a free-for-all in this corner.
You're just, like, from bodily functions to what BDSM position you would prefer to be in.
This is pertinent information people need to know.
I like how the deeper we've delved into this, the further away Grayson has gotten away from me. So we should probably stop.
You know when Grace is trying to leave, that means it's time to stop.
And he hasn't even, like, it's not that he's, like, going towards my room. He's, like, just leaving slowly into the little kitchen. He's just like, I'm gonna back myself into a corner away from this.
I don't want to be associated with this product anymore.
Well, I hope next time that you visit that he spends more time with you. Although that was Jonathan's fault more than anything. So, because whenever we have company now, he is a little more active and he comes out and talks to everybody. So,
yes, good.
Yeah. So hopefully you'll be able to smush your face into his belly. Yeah, y'all get a double episode today. A little of Jhenee,
yeah.
little of Jhenee, then a little of
Jhenee.
Olivia. Jhenee!
Whether you like it or not.
Everybody seems to enjoy you. I enjoy you.
Good.
That's all that matters. Alright, bae. Time to say goodbye.
Alright. Bye, guys.
Goodbye. Goodbye.